I cheated on my husband of 14 years and lost him forever. 2 days later, he informed me that he wanted to go through with the divorce. Today I got served divorce papers. It hurts so much to know that I lost my best friend because I was stupid. I wish I could let him see for himself what I genuinely feel in my heart about how sorry I am and about how I would be the most devoted wife ever if he just gave me another chance. I wish I could get him back but I know that I lost him for good.
She was looking for a second chance, but it was already too late.
I cheated on my husband of 14 years and lost him forever. This is long, but it's something I need to get off my chest. My husband, 36 male, and I, 36 female, have been together for 16 years and married for 14. We have 2 daughters who are 13 and 12. About 3 months ago, I cheated on him with my coworker once, and I immediately regretted it. To be honest, I still haven't figured out the real reason why I cheated. On the surface. The reason would be that my husband was too caught up with work for a couple of months, and I felt neglected and unappreciated at times. I know that this isn't the real reason, so I'm trying to figure it out through individual counseling. I only cheated on him that one time and immediately told him the next day because I couldn't bottle up my guilt and shame. He was shocked at first, but then went on to call me the most horrid names. I deserved it. I deserved it a lot more than that. I don't even know how it got to the point of me sleeping with my coworker. It started with innocent flirting, and before I knew it, I made the worst mistake of my life by sleeping with him. I wish I'd gotten hit by a car the day before sleeping with him. I cut off all contact with my coworker and gave up my phone to my husband. I wanted to reassure him that I was willing to make this work on his terms.
Depending on the person, cutting the contact and giving her phone as she did can help a bit in some cases, but in others, it won't do much as the first was already broken.
Whatever they were, as long as he would give me another chance. Even though in my heart I knew that I wanted another chance to prove myself, I told him that I would understand if he went through with a divorce. Anyways, I told my husband that I would do anything to regain his trust and express my sorrow and regret for having hurt him so much. My husband has always been the type of guy to give a person only one chance. Even in his friendships, if the trust had been broken, he wouldn't give the other person another chance.
Most people have the same principle. Once the trust has been broken, it's difficult to get things back to what it used to, especially when it comes to relationship.
He said that he wanted a divorce, but then the whole quarantine thing happened and he stayed in the house for about 2 months and didn't proceed with the divorce. I slept on the couch and tried to give him as much space as he needed and only reminded him from time to time that if he ever wanted to work things out, I'd be more than willing to. During the 2nd month, there was a change as he began talking to me again. We talked about the daily stuff and even watched movies together with the girls as a family. I felt like he wanted to try reconciling, and I was so happy. I was thrilled that there might be some chance to save my family, to save us. Eventually, through the next couple of days, I could sense us becoming friends all over again. He even invited me to sleep on the bed again. One night, we were drinking a bit, just talking in the bedroom, and I felt a genuine connection rebuilding. It felt like we were falling for each other all over again, and it made me so happy. This is the part I regret now. I decided to make a move on him and straddled him while we were laughing at a joke. We looked each other in the eyes so naturally. I began making out with him. It honestly felt like we were 20 all over again. He kissed me back as well, but after a while, he just started crying. He told me to stop and said that he couldn't. I felt so awful because I felt like he wanted to but didn't at the same time.
Since he decided to stay for 2 more months, it shows that he is trying his best to get his family back, but what happened is stuck in his head. So trying to speed things up won't help at all.
It broke my heart directly to see how badly my stupid decision had hurt him. I told him that I was sorry and we went to sleep. The reason I say I regret doing this is because I feel like this moment pushed him away forever. 2 days later, he informed me that he wanted to go through with the divorce. He said that he just doesn't think he could make it work even after trying for the last 2 months. I wanted to fight with him about it, but I just told him I understood. Today I got served divorce papers. It hurts so much to know that I lost my best friend because I was stupid.
This is the reason we must value and respect the people who are important to us while they are still by our side.
Sometimes I roll over to his side of the bed in the morning and I hate how I don't feel his body there anymore. I miss him so much. The thing that hurts me the most is all of this is knowing how badly I hurt the person I love the most. I wish I could go back in time and undo what I did, but I can't. So now, here I am, writing about it on Reddit while crying when there's nothing that I can do about it. I wish I could let him see for himself what I genuinely feel in my heart about how sorry I am and about how I would be the most devoted wife ever if he just gave me another chance. To let him know how much I love him and that I literally would do anything for him. I fucked up the most perfect thing that ever happened to me. I wish I could get him back but I know that I lost him.
That's most likely what happened. He no longer sees himself in that relationship, so now she will have to learn from this experience and move on, just like he did.
Sorry for disturbing you, just give me a few seconds and we will be back to our video. I saw this clip days ago. It contains a concept I already use in my personal life, and I would like to share it with you guys. A concept that has changed my life for the better. Listen to him carefully and try to understand his message. It can change your life. All you have to do is apply it.
What's the chance of you making $1 million this year? Give me numbers. And everyone's like 0%, 0%, 0%, 1%. There's always 1%. It's like 5, and that's like the most it'll get to. And I said, okay, I'm gonna give you the most extreme example, but I just wanna see what happens, okay? What's the percentage chance of you making $1 million this year legally? And if you don't, everyone that you love dies. And everyone's like 100%, 100%, 1,000, 1,000%. I said, what changed? The goal didn't change. The time frame didn't change. Why you're doing it changed. Would you wake up in the morning if everyone that you love's life depended on it and be like, yeah, well, maybe I should scroll on TikTok for a little while? No, you'd be like, I'm gonna take action immediately.
Also, don't forget to check our self-development section at the end of each video.
Once trust is gone, there is no turning back. It's impossible to cheat on someone you love. I divorced her just because she went for coffee with a male friend and hid it from me. The moment I discovered it, it was over forever. I could never trust her again. No second chances. If it happens once, it will happen again. I think you deserve a second chance. Redemption. Sometimes we learn by the mistakes we make. Been cheated on once, about 10 years ago. I'm over it, but I'll never forget the feeling I felt when I found out. His position is completely understandable because once the trust has been broken, he wouldn't be able to overcome that situation or simply pretend that it never happened. He is clearly displaying the behavior of someone who placed the highest level of trust in his partner, and that's why he couldn't bring himself to continue the relationship anymore. It's evident that trust is a fundamental need for him, and she no longer fits in that spot. When trust is damaged, it becomes extremely difficult, if not impossible, to rebuild. This is precisely the reason why people must be serious about their relationships and not take them for granted. They could lose everything, and regrets would be the only thing left, just like in this case. She did things to win him back, but it didn't matter as his mind was already made up.
I began making out with him. It honestly felt like we were 20 all over again. He kissed me back as well, but after a while, he just started crying. He told me to stop and said that he couldn't.
He wasn't able to give the relationship another chance because it no longer had the basic requisites needed to make it successful. When it comes to cheating, many people prefer to leave the first time it happens, simply to avoid future drama. They are well aware that many people don't stop after the first time and are more likely to do it again. For that reason, a second chance is not often considered. They just want to protect their peace of mind. What many don't know is that cheating isn't the only thing that affects trust in a relationship. Trust can be damaged by something as small as a text or even having coffee with a coworker. This can make their partner question the motive behind it, and this is where things get interesting. It can introduce challenges that weren't there before. For those who are in a relationship where their partner trusts them completely, they need to be careful not to do things that would make their significant other doubt whether they deserve that trust.
Next, we have a bear giving us a great life lesson. It's related to when people discover that the grass isn't as green on the other side as they thought, and also what happens when they want to come back.
Contentment. is not only being satisfied with what you have, but being happy with what you have and respecting it. As long as you think more is better, you will never be satisfied.
The effect of greed. Be content with what you have. My ex and this bear are the same page. Great lesson, a must to learn. This is exactly my story at this moment. I learned a lot from this video. This simple scene reflects the reality of many relationships today. Many people are getting confused by the illusion of endless options. They start overlooking the great person by their side, thinking there is someone better out there. In the end, they often find themselves in a similar situation, losing what they once had in the pursuit of something they believed would be better, only to realize they were wrong. Unfortunately, by the time they recognize it, it becomes too late. It's crucial to value and appreciate what you already have, because the grass isn't always greener on the other side. The illusion of more attractive options can be misleading, and many fail to see that their best choice is already by their side. The most striking part of this scenario was the moment the bear came to check on the fish that was left behind, but unfortunately, it was too late. The fish was gone. This often happens in relationships. After someone explores other options, they may want to return to their former partner if things don't work out. But just like in this scenario, it often doesn't work because by the time they come back, there may be no second chance. Also, we must acknowledge that this scene is a powerful lesson for anyone considering such decision. It reminds people to think carefully and appreciate their current partner before making a choice that could lead to regret.
Your last breakup, was it your fault or theirs?
Mine. I cheated on him. It wasn't just the once either. I cheated on him a few times, realised that that's not normal and that's not right. So the first time he found out and forgave me. And then when I did it twice more after that, I worked with one of his friends and they found out and they'd kind of said to me, well, look, if it was just this one-off thing, I won't say anything, but you know, you need to make sure you don't do it again. And I couldn't promise myself I wasn't going to do it again, which is why I thought, well, I'm better off just ending it. I was young as well, so I'll be honest, it was probably me and wanting a bit of attention and not feeling confident in myself, and that was probably why I let things go a little bit further than they should have done.
What would your words of wisdom be for any young people watching that are finding themselves cheating or wanting to cheat?
Work out why. You need to be in an honest relationship. You need to be able to get what you need to be able to get out of a relationship. So find out what that is and make sure the other person is on the same page as you.
Everyone makes mistakes. I was young is never an excuse. We must appreciate her for her honesty. Yeah, ask her for advice on relationship. It appeared more like she either didn't like her partner or simply wasn't suited for a monogamous relationship. If that was the case, the best approach would have been to accept that reality and stay single. By doing so, you avoid hurting someone else by trying to fit into a relationship model that doesn't work for you. One commendable thing about her situation was her accountability. She didn't try to make excuses or blame her partner for not giving her enough emotional support, or use any of the other excuses people often lean on to justify their actions when they make poor choices. People often look for external reasons to explain their actions instead of just admitting it was a mistake, but in her case she owned it, and that's rare. From the interview, it seems like she regrets losing that person, and this is something that happens a lot. People often don't appreciate the person by their side until they're gone, only to realize later that they can't easily replace them. This is a hard lesson for many, and it's something that could have been avoided if they valued what they had when it was still in front of them. Relationships require more than just presence, they require appreciation and effort to maintain. Sometimes, once it's lost, it's too late to go back and undo the damage.
What made you cheat? What was the feeling that made you cheat?
Always cheat before they cheat. I was just bored.
Do you feel bad when you did it? Did you feel bad or no? Be honest.
No, never.
It doesn't make sense to cheat simply because you are bored. If the relationship is no longer providing the excitement she was looking for, it would be better to simply leave. So it wouldn't affect the other party while she is pursuing excitement. It's a far more respectful and honest approach than creating drama by staying and cheating. The first girl also had an interesting take on this topic. She believes that she must cheat first before the other person does. This mindset is exactly why people should go to therapy. It would help them a lot in the long run. Based on her perspective, it will be extremely difficult to maintain a healthy relationship because she assumes that every single man is going to cheat on her. But that's simply not the case. Her belief sets her up to sabotage potential relationships before they even have a chance. According to her logic, she will have to cheat on every partner, including those who wouldn't have cheated on her. This will only lead her to lose the opportunity to be with good men who would have treated her well.
Welcome to our self-development section. Today we will talk about a concept that can change anyone's life. If you are willing to apply it, you will be able to achieve almost anything you want.
What's the chance of you making $1 million this year? Give me numbers. And everyone's like 0%, 0%, 0%. 1%, there's always 1%, it's like 5, and that's like the most it'll get to. And I said, okay, I'm gonna give you the most extreme example, but I just wanna see what happens, okay? What's the percentage chance of you making $1 million this year, legally, and if you don't, everyone that you love dies? And everyone's like 100%, 100%, 1,000, 1,000%. I said, what changed? The goal didn't change, the time frame didn't change, why you're doing it changed. Would you wake up in the morning if everyone that you love's life depended on it and be like, yeah, well, maybe I should scroll on TikTok for a little while? No, you'd be like, I'm gonna take action immediately. And so it doesn't need to be like a fear of losing everybody, but what's really behind that is like, why?
We know most of us could have achieved more than what we have so far, but we are not performing at the level we could. Most of us are performing at 10 or 20% of our capacity, and this is where this concept comes to help. We know due to social media and many other distractions we currently have, we are easily distracted. But if we have the right mindset, those things won't be able to take our focus away from the things that really matter. And as a result, we will be able to achieve most of our goal in a short period of time. As he said in the video, if we have enough reason, it will be enough to give us the right energy to keep going, even when we no longer want to do it. The example he gave, I know it's not real, but you can still use it to fuel your desire to achieve whatever you want to achieve. You can do it. It is just a matter of having enough reason to do what is required so you can get whatever you want. How many of you would be distracted if the consequence would be the example he gave in the video? I know none of you would, and this is the mindset I want all of you to have. Keep that in mind anytime you are doing something and for some reason you are getting tired or discouraged. That is the moment you need to remember that consequence. If you apply this concept, I guarantee you that your life will change for the better in a short period of time. As I have mentioned, I already use this concept in my personal life, and you have no idea of how much it has helped me when it comes to the accomplishment of my goals. This is a concept that can be used in anything you are doing. It can be applied in the gym. Do you remember the moment you've done all the sets you need to do, and you were already tired? How many more sets could you do if the consequence was what he mentioned? I bet you will be able to do 20 more sets. The same with your studies when you are tired and want to sleep. But it would be better if you read a bit more before bed. How many more pages would you read if you knew that the consequence would be the one he mentioned? We know you wouldn't even be feeling asleep. The same thing with business. You would never have a failed business if you knew about that consequence. So, let's do it. You can achieve a lot more than what you think. You are a machine that is working at its lowest capacity, and it's up to you to put this machine to work and make it happen. This is all for today's video, and I hope you like it. Make sure you check our channel tomorrow for another great content.